All right, cheers and salutations. My name is Kit. This is Americans Learn. Please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and hit that ring bell notification. That way, all you hip cool cats are made aware when we upload new content. You guessed it, upon our YouTube channel. And today, we got ourselves a fun video titled, first of all, the 10 underrated Roman emperors. That's right, this is Americans Learn. My name is Kit. Please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, of course, to our YouTube channel and support Spectrum, who does a lot of great work as well. It's the right thing to do. It's the one thing to do, and that's what all true Romans do. So let's check out the 10 most underrated emperors in Roman history. After all, we're all true Romans here. And what do true Romans do? Number one, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and also support the original content creator. Caesar would approve. But since I'm in charge of the ones and twos, let's enjoy this video in a 3, a 2, and an uno.
While certain historical figures get recognition and praise for their achievements, there are always those who often either go underappreciated or have their legacy left in tatters due to the way certain sources have painted a rather poor picture of them, leaving modern historians to revise their rule more accurately. This list does not contain the likes of Augustus, Trajan, Diocletian, or Constantine. Rather, those emperors either previously seen as negative or have their reign slip under the radar of those enthusiastic of history. These are the 10 most underrated emperors of Rome. Oh, and no Byzantines are on this list. By the way, consider subscribing. Number 10, Claudius II. A superb military commander.
Claudius II. Interesting. Okay, there you go. Starting off pretty strong.
Claudius II, also known as Claudius Gothicus, spent his rather short reign defending the empire against barbarian invasions. Claudius defeated the Alemanni in the Alps in what was known as the Battle of Lake Banacus. Claudius also regained control of Hispania from the Gallic Empire, a seceding state of the Roman Empire during the crisis of the 3rd century, though they weren't really Gallic per se. The most famous achievement by Claudius, however, was the one which earned him the epitaph of Gothicus. Claudius defeated an invading Gothic army in the Battle of Nisus, where the Gothic losses were catastrophic whereas Roman losses were rather light. It should be noted, however, due to inconsistencies in sources, Claudius may not have been the one to actually defeat the Goths in the Battle of Nisus, but another emperor. One you will definitely see on this list.
All right, there you go. All right, Claudius II. All right, Claudius leading the way.
Later. Number 9, Constantius I. Another emperor with a distinguished military career, something that will become a common trend with this list, Constantius I is recognized as a very competent emperor. However, he remains a relatively obscure figure, largely due to being in the shadow of his much more famous son, a certain Constantine the Great. Elevated to the imperial office, Constantius' first task was to put down a rebellion active in Britain and Gaul started by a certain Carausius, which he did fantastically, also defeating the Franks in battle in the same campaign, which led to him being hailed by the Britons as Reditor Lucius Aeternae, meaning the restorer of eternal light. After that, Constantius spent most of his time defending his part of the empire in the Tetrarchic system, defeating the Alemanni and the Franks once again in battle. He would eventually be promoted from Caesar to full Augustus after the abdications of Diocletian and Maximian, but his reign as Augustus wouldn't last long, dying of a fever a year after being named as such.
Oh, the good always die so young.
Number 8, Valentinian I.
Oh,
In truth,
Valentinian.
he is actually known as Valentinian the Great. However, this is more spoken in the sense of the elder statesman and not actually in the sense that he was a great ruler. Valentinian I was, however, an excellent Roman emperor. Ascending to the imperial throne after the unexpected death of Jovian, Valentinian made the choice of dividing the empire between East and West, with himself getting the West. And as Western Roman emperor, he focused mostly in military campaigns against the barbarian tribes, defending the empire successfully against the Alemanni, the Quadi, and the Sarmatians. He was actually the last emperor to conduct campaigns beyond the Rhine and the Danube, even building fortresses in enemy territory. Number 7, Majorian. At a time
Majorian. When the world needed a hero. He's not the main protagonist, but Majorian still good nonetheless.
the Western Roman Empire had been mostly reduced to Italy, Majorian came into the imperial throne.
Well, wait, to take that more. Yeah, Majorian is a hero. They're all heroes in my book.
with the ambition to get it all back. After defeating the Vandals in Italy,
Mhm.
Majorian embarked on several campaigns throughout the lands once formerly held by the Western Roman Empire. He defeated the Visigoths in battle, reducing their territory to Aquitania and turning them once again into Roman federati. He also defeated the Burgundians, expelling them from the Rhone Valley and also reducing them to federati. He also defeated the Suebi and recovered Lusitania, reducing the Suebi-controlled lands to just Galicia. Unfortunately, his downfall came after failing to even begin his campaign to reconquer North Africa from the Vandals. As he was preparing a fleet, the Vandals had bribed some men who then proceeded to burn it all. Frustrated by this, he returned to Italy, only to find out his right-hand man, Ricimer, had plotted his downfall. As he disbanded his mercenaries who protected him, Majorian was seized by Ricimer, who proceeded to torture and kill his former comrade. Number 6, Aurelian.
Why is he number 6? No, Aurelian needs to be number 1. Oh, come on. That's the man who saved the world. Reunited the Roman Empire, and in 5 years, no less. That guy needs to be number 1. Number 6 is not good.
If I was making up this list, say, 15 years ago, then Aurelian would likely have been number 1.
Yeah, no, you were correct 5 years ago, and you should rectify this horrible decision.
However, due to his recent rise in popularity, mostly stemming from the Empire Divided DLC from Total War Rome 2, he is not quite as
And the memes. And the memes. And the memes.
overlooked as he used to be. Of course, Aurelian is the Restitutor Orbis, the restorer of the world,
The
reuniting
hero.
the Roman Empire after conquering the seceding Palmyrene and Gallic empires. All the while, he defeated several invaders in battle, including the Alemanni, the Goths, the Vandals, the Jathungi, the Sarmatians, and the Carpi. Aurelian also built the Aurelian walls that would protect Rome. Of course, nowadays Aurelian is far more famous than what he used to be, and many recognize him as one of Rome's greatest emperors. But he is still not in the same level of recognition the likes of Augustus, Trajan, Diocletian, or Marcus Aurelius are, likely due to his rather short reign, which, in truth, actually makes everything he achieved even more impressive, as he did all of this in just 5 years. It's often my own assumption that had Aurelian ruled for a longer period, he would have had far more recognition for what he achieved. Number 5, Maxentius. Having been the loser of a power struggle against a certain
Maxentius. Really? I don't know, man. When we go back to Aurelian, I mean, that's our hero. That's the hero of the story. It should be Aurelian.
Had Aurelian ruled for a longer period, he would have had far more recognition for what he achieved. Number 5, Maxentius. Having been the loser of a power struggle against a certain Constantine, Maxentius has often been painted as an incompetent tyrant. However, more recently, we see Maxentius as all along largely been the victim of character assassination. Of course, one should keep in mind, Maxentius rose to the imperial throne in unlegitimate ways. Coming into power during the period of the Tetrarchy, Maxentius rose to control Italy without the sitting emperor's approval. Surrounded by enemies who sought to destroy him, Maxentius twice bested Roman emperors in campaign, first the newly crowned Severus II, and then one of the Augusti, Galerius. His father Maximian, in a bid to get back into power, also tried to overthrow him, but failed. Maxentius was the last Roman emperor to reside in Rome, and as we've come to find out recently, many of the buildings in the city that have often been attributed to Constantine were actually built by him. Of course, this is due to the fact that Maxentius did eventually
Now, wait a minute. Hold on. Let me just, because I was trying to rewind a button here. Okay, so hold on.
to find out recently, many of twice bested Roman emperors in campaign, first the newly crowned Severus II, and then one of the Augusti, Galerius. His father Maximian, in a bid to get back into power, also tried to overthrow him, but failed. Maxentius was
Damn, his own dad? Oh, man, Roman politics was cutthroat.
the last Roman emperor to reside in Rome, and as we've come to find out recently, many of the buildings in the city that have often been attributed to Constantine were actually built by him. Of course, this is due to the fact that Maxentius did eventually lose in the Tetrarchic power struggle against Constantine himself. Then again, everyone did.
Yeah.
I should note, the inclusion of Maxentius can be questioned, as none of the sitting emperors, with the sole exception of Maximinus, recognized his reign. Number 4, Tiberius, an emperor
Him? Tiberius. Okay, whatever. Let's hear this.
who suffered from character assassination from the senatorial class. Tiberius has, for a long time, been painted as a tyrant who had people executed left and right under the pretense of treason. However, throughout the entirety of Tiberius's reign, not more than 52 people were accused of treason, and almost half of them were not convicted for it. In other words, not only is the supposed abuse of power by Tiberius a massive exaggeration, but the courts of justice acted independently.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, makes sense.
Truth, Tiberius was a very competent emperor, most notably in the aspect of administration. When he died, he had left the imperial treasury with nearly 3 billion sesterces. He
Oh, in Tiberius's defense, he knew how to manage a budget.
had refused to embark on campaigns of conquest, which not only helped save money, but was also the wise decision to make at the time. Under Augustus, the empire had expanded significantly, and so it was time to consolidate on those gains. The result of this was, by the time he died, the empire was in a much stronger shape than it was when
Emotionally, financially, spiritually, psychologically.
he had ascended. Not the last victim of character assassination we will see on this list, by the way. Number 3, Constantius II. Like grandfather, like grandson. Constantius II, much like Constantius I, is a historical figure residing in the shadow of Constantine, his father. Constantius was one of the 4 successors to Constantine, as the empire was divided between him, his 2 brothers, Constantine II and Constans, and his cousin Dalmatius. And it's pretty much undeniable, Constantius was definitely the better one out of all successors. Despite living through a tumultuous reign with wars against the Sassanids, barbarian invasions, and plenty of civil wars, Constantius managed to die in power, in an era where his hold on it was challenged constantly, be it with his family, be it with generals like Maxentius, or outside forces like Shapur II. Constantius proved to be more than a capable general. Admittedly, Constantius was not exactly a nice man. He had plenty of people executed, including his own family, and there is no broad historical consensus about the man. Some write he was a vain man easy to manipulate. Others say he was a tyrant. It is notable, however, in a time where loyalties could shift, Constantius appeared to inspire it in a way his brothers could not. Furthermore, most contemporaries have held him in high regard. Number 2, Domitian. Another
Okay, I was worried who was going to be number 1, but Domitian. Domitian is somebody. He's got my respect. Domitian. Obviously, it should be Aurelian, but okay, let's hear what the big old D has done.
victim of character assassination, Domitian has long been regarded as a tyrant by his senatorial opposition. However, Domitian only began to intensify his senatorial purge after uncovering a conspiracy against him. I say purge very loosely here because only some 20 senators were executed throughout his reign. For comparison, kind old Uncle Claudius purged more senators and
Well done, Claudius.
far more equestrians. Modern historiography has a different assessment from that of ancient sources. Domitian has been described as a ruthless but efficient autocrat. His economic program brought the Roman currency to a standard it was never again able to achieve.
He broke the inflation code, okay? He typed in the code and fixed it.
His foreign policy was realistic and based on negotiating peace, though he still created a series of forts between the Rhine and Danube rivers called the Limes Germanicus. He is obviously not perfect. It's true he somewhat restricted freedom of speech, though these restrictions also included punishment for libel, and sought to control public and private morals. Ironically, despite this, he refrained from persecuting religious minorities, including Jews and Christians. Domitian, for all his faults, proved to be an efficient ruler whose administration provided the foundation for the golden age of imperial Rome of the Nerva Antonine dynasty. Number 1, Gallienus.
Oh, sorry, I got that wrong. He was number 2. Number 1 is Gallienus. Really?
With the capture of his father Valerian at the hands of the Sassanids, the Roman Empire was thrown into disarray. Left alone to fend off outsider threats, Gallienus had to deal with several incursions, including Alemanni, Goths, Franks, and others.
Leave it to the Franks and the Gauls. The Goths. The Goths in Germania.
But his rule had been shaken so badly due to his father's capture. Several revolts erupted throughout the empire, most notably the formation of the Gallic Empire in the west. Realizing standard 5,000 men strong legions wouldn't be able to fend off invasions, Gallienus reformed the army into having cavalry units, a mobile force that could arrive more quickly to deal with any outsider threats. There were also many potential usurpers Gallienus had to deal with throughout his reign. Gallienus is a historical figure not treated favorably by ancient historians. However, some descriptions of him being a lazy lover of luxury simply aren't true, as he had to constantly march leading armies back and forth.
So great. He gets labeled as lazy, and then, in reality, he's the one who's marching all his troops? Come on, man. Stupid senators.
He is the emperor that led the empire during the worst period of the crisis of the 3rd century. And despite all challenges to his reign, all the invasions, all the conflicts, he still ruled for 15 years.
Well, during the crisis of the 3rd century, that should be considered a miracle.
And that's the list. Hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like, comment, and if you aren't subscribed, please do. I'd really appreciate it. There's also a link to my Patreon in the description if you wish to support me there. This was Spectrum, and I'll see you around.
All right, not too bad, not too bad. Great video from Spectrum, of course. I don't agree with the order. I think Aurelian should be number 1 because, after all, come on. Aurelian is the one who stood up against Zenobia and defeated her, stood up against the Goths, stood up against the Persian Empire, stood up against those that were trying to destroy the empire from within. That's quite an achievement for in 5 years. In 5 years, maybe I'm being biased here. Or dare I say it, I'm being unbiased here. I think Aurelian should have the number 1 title just because he's becoming more famous thanks to the internet memes and video games. That shouldn't remove him down to be number 6. He should be number 1. Uno. Aurelian is in my book. How do you guys feel? Should Aurelian be number 1? Or you feel like the order of underrated emperors were correct? I'm going to say, and I'm going to side with, we're always going to have Aurelian be number 1. After all, he was the hero, the savior of the world. And now the world is doomed. Avenge Rome.